Well, I'm pleased to have had the opportunity, with the assistance of David Chanoff, to write my autobiography, which is titled Breaking Ground: My Life in Medicine, published by the University of Georgia Press. This autobiography shows the changes that have occurred in our society during the time of my life. I can look back upon a number of the things, and I'm pleased to write about them. First, I was born in Atlanta at Grady Hospital, the public hospital. I was born during the Depression. Because of that, my father, who was an insurance salesman for Atlanta Life Insurance Company, a black-owned company, my father was not selling insurance because people were not buying it. They were trying to save money, what little they had, to pay the rent or to put food on the table. So because of the fact that my father had two young boys to feed and my mother, who was a school teacher, he moved first to Albany and went into a partnership with the funeral director there. That lasted for 2 years, and he and his partner had some disagreement. I never really learned what it was, but they dissolved the partnership, and my father then moved to Blakely, a small town of about 10,000 people, 60 miles west of Albany. He established the first black funeral home in Blakely, and was there from 1937 until 1957. This was during the years of legally enforced segregation. So schools for blacks in the South generally, and certainly in the rural South, were really not very good. Fortunately for my brother Walter and me, my parents were very committed to us getting a strong education. My years at Morehouse were really monumental. I was influenced by its president, Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays. Dr. Mays was a scholar. He was a gentleman. He was very articulate and a tremendous speaker. So he inspired all of us students. Among Morehouse graduates, the most famous was Martin Luther King Jr., who was also influenced by Dr. Mays. So my Morehouse years were very important years for me. In addition to Dr. Mays, we had an outstanding faculty at Morehouse, people who stimulated us to really do our very best, to always strive to achieve the highest grade we could, learn the most that we could, master the information, not simply memorize it, but understand it, use it, and really to develop new knowledge. When it came time to go to medical school, I was encouraged to apply not only to Howard and Meharry, the two existing predominantly African-American medical schools at the time, but to apply to other medical schools as well. It happens that Boston University responded first. I received a letter a month or so after sending in my application, inviting me to attend an interview by a Boston University graduate who was a physician in downtown Atlanta. I went for that interview, and the interview seemed to go very well, but I was not sure at the end of that interview whether I had made an impression or not. When I received the letter from Boston University, I opened it hoping that it would be an invitation to visit the campus of the medical school, so that hopefully this would mean my application had progressed further. I was surprised that the letter was an offer of admission. I entered there in 1954, and this to me was a very significant time because this meant this was the first time in my life that I would be living in a non-segregated environment. I wondered how that would be.